Former Ohio State and Alabama star receiver Jameson Williams is suing the Big Ten, the SEC, and the NCAA for profiting off of his name, image, and likeness, and him receiving, according to him, zero compensation for this. He is looking for back pay and lost social media earnings. Let's talk about why I don't really think the juice is worth the squeeze on this one, JMO. And also, does he actually have a case? What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Jameson Williams is right to pursue damages from the NCAA, the SEC, and the Big Ten for profiting off of his name, image, and likeness? He has filed a suit in Los Angeles County Court that alleges that they were making money off of his name, image, and likeness without properly compensating him for his time, both at Ohio State, where he played 2019, 2020, and Alabama in 2021. The suit filed by his attorneys alleges to date, Williams has received no fair compensation from defendants for the full commercial value of his name, image, and likeness. Defendants continuously financially benefit from Jameson Williams' name, image, and likeness rights, while also doing so without proving him with just compensation. Additionally, Williams stated that he, quote, wants the social media earnings that he would have received, but the defendants unlawfully conduct, as well as the game telecast, group licensing revenue, revenue sharing. You'll know that Williams had over 1,500 yards receiving and 79 catches, 15 games for Alabama. Tore his ACL in the national championship game, but it didn't stop him from being number 12 overall pick and becoming a great weapon in a resurgent Detroit Lions franchise, drafted in the 2022 NFL draft. He also alleges that he was not able to sell his name, image, and likeness rights, which could have produced any number of packages for him, and that he received less than zero, or I should say he received less than he would have, which is to say zero, if he had received some form of compensation for his name, image, and likeness. And they believe that is the reason why he was thus damaged. This news first reported by the California Post, great scoop by them. But that doesn't get us any closer to the truth. This just says that they're filing a suit against the NCAA, against the Big Ten, the SEC, which I think crucially to point out here, he's not filing suit against Alabama. He's not filing suit against Ohio State. He is filing suit against the leagues that they are a part of in the NCAA, which both are a part of. This suit feels less like Jameson Williams is out to get his and more like a precedent that could be set. I think both things can be true at the same time, because if Jameson Williams succeeds in this way, you could see a number of other NFL stars that might be trying to go get more from what they already had. Now, what's interesting about a lot of this is, again, name, image, and likeness kind of comes online July 2021, right? That's how we understand it. And we're seeing high school kids get deals. Nico Iamaleava famously getting $350,000 up front just to sign, right? And then a contract that was paying him about $2 million a year to be the quarterback at Tennessee before he fumbled the bag. For Jameson Williams, it's a little bit different in that he didn't really do much for Ohio State to want to profit off of his name, image, and likeness. I mean, he was wide receiver 3 at best in 2019 and in 2020. Both of those teams are outstanding, particularly the 2020 team that finally got to play and show what it was about. But Williams transferred to Bama because he wasn't wide receiver 1 at Ohio State. And when he got to Alabama, it became a Biletnikoff Award winner because, well, Bryce Young really had one guy to throw the football to, and that was Jameson Williams. And again, they were great. He was good. What I find most interesting about that is, like, if you're going to pick a fight, wouldn't it be with Alabama? And wouldn't Alabama have some things to show and say about just what you were able to do in that back half of the 2021 season? Now, could he have been profiting the whole time? Maybe, maybe not. This is not as straightforward as you might think, and I would love to see what other evidence can be introduced here, and if this was a suit that went to trial, or if it's just not tossed out by a Los Angeles County judge. But given that it was filed in Los Angeles County, his attorneys must believe that they got a case there that they wouldn't have, say, in SEC or Big Ten country, for obvious reasons. I think, although we can make the argument that Los Angeles is definitely Big Ten country, as UCLA and USC are Big Ten members, but only here recently. I guess the other part about this is, Jeffrey Kessler is not at the other end of this table for Jameson Williams. So I'm going to ask that your attorneys be better than he is. And I don't think anybody is right now in getting these big judgments. But Kessler's been involved in, again, class action, big judgments. And we thought that this was mostly settled law, but it is not, because one of the things that is also interesting is what he is suing under, which is a violation of the Cartwright Act, which violation of Unfair Practices Act, violation of Senator Sherman Antitrust Act, and the Lanham Act. All of these things amount to, again, taking advantage of labor and not fairly compensating labor. I'm going to be curious about how this goes, because I started this conversation by saying I don't think this is worth the squeeze, because Jameson Williams is making $83 million to be wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. And I guess the only thing that's better than a lot of money is even more money. I don't think that this is the kind of thing that the Lions care that much about, except to say Williams already kind of got himself in hot water earlier in his career. And he's a really talented guy, and he's a very good receiver, and compensating him quite a bit. So why are you picking this fight would be the question that I would want the answer to, because this one feels, on its face, it feels very selfish. And it feels like somebody else might need to be the face of this. But depending on who you are and what kind of case you think you can bring, perhaps this is just what it is. He believes that he is owed this money, and is believed that he's owed this money for some time. And what I've seen here recently, both from fans and players, is a lot of people getting jealous of other people getting a bag. You know, like if you're Jameson Williams and you look at the bag that Jeremiah Smith has been able to bring in since joining Ohio State, you might feel some kind of way about that. If you are the kind of player that perhaps could be wide receiver one at, let's say, Alabama, you might feel some kind of way about that. The more I think about it, the more I genuinely believe that these things aren't worth it. The more I genuinely believe that there are other ways to go about getting your bread. And as you're going about trying to get your bread, maybe going through the court system is not the way to do it. Because I'm thinking Jameson Williams can make this up on the back end like a lot of players before him did. And that's the other part. There are lots of older players that are looking at this going, yo, should I be suing? Maybe, maybe not. But to drag this in the way that I think they're dragging this, I don't think that's good for business. I don't think that's anything they should do.